You're rocking with the voice of Sound View. We put our spin on trending topics and school news. Thought-provoking, insightful, we speak the truth. We do it for all ages, not just for the youth. Listen close, you might learn something. Or laugh so hard, you split your side of something. Live stream a podcast. Whenever you tune in, it's sure to be a blast. Let's be honest, you don't want to miss that. Content so real, you're going to want to run it back. We keep you entertained while making an impact. Want boring announcements? Well, this is not that. Sports, pop, culture, political. Whatever you like, we got you covered, bro. It's a movement more than just a show. It's KSBM Radio.
From closer to the music. Broadcasting live from Marvin E. Robinson School of Business and Management, Dallas, Texas. My radio station. We are KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
Hello, everyone. I'm Cammie, and I'm here with
Unison, Chewy,
Violet, and we are thrilled to welcome you to the 4th DallasISD's First Friday series. Today, we are honored to meet Mr. Burl Sneed, a highly skilled professional with over 5 million miles driven safely, a CDL with double and triple endorsements, and certification as an OSHA first responder. Let's dive in and explore the incredible journey and insights that Mr. Sneed brings to our podcast. Mr. Sneed, it's a pleasure to have you here. How are you today?
Oh, I am wonderful. Thank you for that intro. Really, I feel special, and I'm glad to be here. Thanks for the opportunity for coming and having me. So I am ready.
Is there anything you'd like to share before we begin our conversation?
Well, I mean, we're here talking about transportation and logistics, and I've been a part of transportation for 20 years. I did different types of jobs, but it always came back to transportation. I did warehousing, I did dock work, but it always was centered around transportation. So I know it pretty well, and I think that I may have some insight on a little bit on transportation. So I am honored again for being here.
So where did you grow up, and how did your experiences in your early years of school, like elementary, shape your early interest and aspirations?
I'm from Tupelo, Mississippi. It's 100 miles from Memphis, Tennessee. A lot of people say how you remember Mississippi is Elvis Presley. Y'all know Elvis Presley? Yeah. Okay. So we got some EP fans in the house, and so that's the town I grew up from. I went to a Green Street Elementary School, and how I got fascinated with traveling, my grandparents did a lot of traveling when we was little. So just the idea of seeing different things and looking at different billboards, I got intrigued by that. So after that, every time we go somewhere, I'll be like, oh man, I remember that. They changed that. So over years, it just became something I wanted to do.
Moving on to high school, are there any specific subjects or experiences that have shaped your journey today?
Oh man, high school, the awesome years. Believe it or not, I wanted to be a chef. Yeah, believe it or not. I took a hotel and restaurant management all through high school, and I wanted to be a chef. For whatever reason, I wanted to. But my granddad had his own business. He had his own dump truck, and so I was around some type of transportation. And so during the high school years, my older brother worked for the school bus department. And back then, they allowed you to get a bus license to drive the bus. So I did that. And once I did that, I was like, okay, I like this. And so I did it for a little while until somebody told it on me I was driving too fast. So that's another story for another day. But that's how I got more into it.
Have you ever driven an 18-wheeler?
Have I ever driven an 18-wheeler? Oh, that's what I'm driving today. Yes. It's parked at Hutchinson High School. When we leave here, we're going over there as well. And it's probably, most people, when you see 18-wheeler, most folks go like, oh, man, that's a big, that's big. How you handle that? How do you maneuver that thing? And I always tell people like this, how many of y'all drive? Okay.
I just got my license.
Congratulations. All right. So we got 2 drivers and we're praying for the other 2. All right. But with that being said, I tell people, if you can drive, you can drive 18-wheeler. You just got to learn the perimeters, how to dissect, you know, how you can turn in certain areas, and then you got to understand the how it would to stop it, or can I put it in this particular place? You got to know all that to make it work. Just like driving a car. You just can't pull a car into a small area if you got an SUV. You see those small places? You got to get a big parking spot. So you learn different things the more you drive.
At what age did you start driving? And we know that your grandfather had like a big impact on your journey. Could you describe how he had a big impact?
Okay, I started driving when I was 13. Yes, and been driving ever since. And yes, I have a little bit. And my granddad, because of the fact that he was always a hard worker, and so we was had the pleasure of going to work with him, and we would see what he does. And once you drive or ride with somebody that drives in that particular field, I was fascinated for the fact that we sit up high. You know, you can see the cars, you know, and I used to look over in folks' cars and say, look at that, you know. So, but then it makes you feel like, I guess, like you're a king or something, you know. You're like, hey, I'm gonna. And so over the years, I started learning more about it. And what made me really know that I could do it, just a quick story. One time I was sitting under the tree with my granddad, and his truck was across the street in front of the house, and he said, I give you, I can't remember the number, we just say $5, if you could pull that truck from there to here. Now, I had never driven. I probably made it 10, and I said, okay, but I'd always watch. You know, you can learn by watching. I went over there and did it and brought it up there, and I said, look at that. So then I was like, okay, I can do this. But not knowing that years later that I actually do it.
How has your family's connection with trucking, with 3 brothers involved, like, affected, like, your journey?
Ooh, man. We ain't got enough time to discuss that, so I'm going to give you the short version. My older brother was driving first, because he used to ride my granddaddy the most. And he was doing it first, then I had my baby brother, which owned his own business, you know. And so watching them, and then I was at a point that I wanted to try something different, because I was in warehousing. And so I got with them, with my cousin, and so I went the old school route of training. Like, they got schools that you can go to get trained for this, but back then I just rode with them, got my permit, then over time got my license. And then that impact, they was able to give me knowledge that I couldn't have got in school. So with that hands-on, prepared me a little bit better, you know, so I appreciate that.
So, I'm not gonna lie. Me, myself, I want to go into CDL myself.
Yes, sir.
Would you recommend going, well, as you said, going to school first for it?
Well, that's a good question. Now, here's what we have to look at. This is 2024. That's 19-something. So the times, the rules are totally different now. You see what I'm saying? So you probably could do it, but it probably take you longer to attain them then. But if you go to the right school that can give you the proper training in safety, the proper training in backing, because you know backing is probably one of the toughest things to do. Because a lot of people can go forward, but just actually backing the truck and trailer into a spot, you know, it takes work. And so I would look for that. Then I would look for a school that been around a long time, not one of these quick fix schools. And then you got to be able to say, all right, if I get trained, I'm properly trained, I got all the tools and utensils to make this happen, then it's up to you. Because you got to understand, being out there on the road, you by yourself. So are you a person that likes to be by yourself? Can you drive 1,000 miles by yourself? Do you have enough music in your iPhone to get you there? You know what I mean? So you got to be content with that. You know, but I encourage you to investigate that, and you can always call me, I give you the insight.
So, I've always wondered, is there like a bed in the back? You know how like when you drivers be like, oh, like I drive, because you know some drivers they stop at the truck stop or whatever, but some of them I've seen videos where like there's like a little bed.
Okay.
Have you ever seen that?
Yes. Well, let's see how I can explain that. I call my truck my office. Like I'm working, right? So the front of it is my office. When I go to the back, that's your bed. But I also have my kitchen back there.
And
no, I'm just gonna explain to you the reason I say that. All right, I have a refrigerator in my truck. I have a flat screen TV. You can put a microwave in there. So say this the bed I'm sitting on. So if I look to my right, that's my kitchen area. I got a desk I pull out. That's where I do my work. So you have to make like a open plan type area for your truck. That's how I look at it. And then to answer your question, yes, some come with one bed, some come with two beds, some come with a shower. Yeah.
I could do that. I could do that. Honestly, if I didn't have to sleep, if I had to sleep in there, I'd do it.
Okay.
We just see Violet on the road, just like about a honk. But you mentioned how your brothers were involved as well. How did they influence your career choices?
Ooh, man. They influenced for the simple fact of I saw that with that career, you can provide for your family. And then you can not just provide, you'll be able to enjoy life. I know people say that truck drivers may not make, quote unquote, good money, but I always heard all money ain't good money too. But what I say is, if you work hard and it's something that you love, it's something that you want to do, you make it work. And so seeing them do that inspired me to say, you know what, I can do that. But I also said I want to do something different. So I went and worked, I was blessed to work for a good company. And so the company I worked for had good benefits, good pay. So I was fortunate for a lot of years to do that. So that their inspiration inspired me to do that.
So with the CDL, commercial driver's license, and OSHA, first responder certification, how do you prioritize safety in your role and on safety board shaping regulations? Okay. Well, OSHA stands for Occupation Safety Hazard Act, and it's a program that trains you for chemical spills. Or like you seen tankers, right? You know what tankers are? The guy that pulls the fuel. All right, say he had an accident, OSHA usually be on the scene to shut things down. So I was trained years ago to be a first responder, something like that. Fortunately, it hasn't happened, so we're not gonna wood that it don't. And that right there, because in the field that I'm in, safety is, to me, is the top thing to do. Because without safety, you can't make it to your destination and back. Because like on my cup right there, it says the 3 Ps: positive, prepare, and plan. All right, think about this. You have a positive mindset. You got to prepare your trip, and then you got to plan it out. So with that being said, safety falls in that category. Because if you put safety first, that means you are already thinking for the unexpected. How many times you been driving or seen somebody driving and you see them, it's a car pulled right in front of you? What you say? You may say some other words. We hope not. But you have to prepare in your mind, that car may stop. So what I'm going to do? Your reaction is keep driving.
Good word. but just say you keep driving and an accident. Now you probably go to jail. You lose your license. The people go sue you. You see what I'm saying? But if you had the safety and you was already prepared, when that car pulled out, in your mind you say, that car may do it, so I'm going to slow up. You see what I'm saying? So you slow up enough just to say, man, I'm glad I slowed up. Or if you're going down a big hill, and you say, ooh, this is a steep hill. Do you go down fast or do you go down slow? Slow. See that? So you just have to, safety engages you to be well prepared.
So, a question I have to ask is, since you've driven so far, how many states have you visited?
Wow, that is an awesome question.
You're not winning this hat.
Let's see. Since I'm at school, how many states in the United States? 50. Okay, I drove 50. I've touched on every state here.
What was like your favorite state to visit?
Going through Arizona, going through the mountains.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in the summertime, you see the shadow in the sun, and like when you drive and you can see your truck on the rock, you go just like that. Seriously, but that was always my fun. Now, when the weather changed and it started getting cold, I used to like Washington State and Seattle because you come between a waterfall and it be frozen. And you drive through there and you look and it's just frozen. and you go, oh my goodness.
Where was that?
Washington State in Seattle.
I'm gonna start looking at colleges there.
Were there like any challenges you faced, or like a memorable experience?
Yes, sir. Let me see. Fortunately, I didn't have a lot, but it's a mountain you can Google called Cabbage Patch. It's in Seattle, and it was during the winter time, and they had a storm, and we was coming down the mountain, and the snow and ice got into my front tires, and so as I was driving, it shifted the truck, and so the truck started sliding to the right. I'm still holding the steering wheel, and my co-driver was in the back at that particular time, and I said, you may want to come out. And so he came out. His words were, ain't nothing I can do. And so he went back to bed. And so as the truck was going down the hill, I said, well, Lord, I don't know what to do. And sure enough, God made it happen where the wheel broke the ice enough where I could grab it, and we made it down to the bottom. So when we got down to the bottom, you can just say, I went to bed. I was
Beyond driving, how do you find fulfillment in supporting communities around you?
Oh man, I love that. Like, I'm a licensed barber as well, and so I'm able to do two of the best things that I like to do: travel and cut hair. And I've been cutting hair forever. You know, I was a bootlegger for a long time. I got my license in '09. But with that being said, I teamed up with Austin Street in Fort Worth, and we do the homeless people. They do programs where they come in and cut the hair, and I do it just because it keeps me to keep my skills up, you know, keep them sharp or whatever. And I said, whenever I retire, I may fall back into cutting full time, but that's how I contribute back to the community.
So, as a driver ambassador, how do you facilitate open communication among drivers and company leadership during scheduled meetings?
Ooh, good question. The driver ambassador program was started with my company that I work for now, Jones Logistics, and they put that into play, I think, in 2022. And they went and had particular people that they wanted to come into this program, and I was asked to be in it. And the program was to be like the middle person between upper management and drivers. And so drivers, I always had a pretty good relationship with drivers, so I would always talk to them. So when they asked me to do this, I was able to like listen to drivers with issues or concerns, and then what we would do when we have our monthly meetings, we would put them down, and the goal was, say we had 5 issues. If we could get 3 solved, we did something. So that's what we would do. And so every month, that's what we would do. And so right now it's on a pause, and I know it's coming back, and I hope when it come back, we will full force and do some more good things with the ambassador program.
So we've heard that your platform as the Love Dog. So we were asking, how did you develop the principles of
the 3 Ps?
Yeah, the positivity, preparation, and planning for your inspirational messages.
Okay. It comes from me. I was, you know how you watching something on YouTube? I saw somebody else, they were doing something similar. And I said, I wonder if they changed it and did it like this, would it be more excited? So I started practicing on my phone, you know, like 3 Ps, you know, but then it wouldn't sound right. I was like, that ain't how they go. Then I'm like, 3 Ps with an S. I said, that don't sound right. Then I just said, you know what, I'm going to do my version of it. And I would start it out like, what's up? See, that's how I started. And then once I started, I said, hey, 3 Ps, pause, prepare, and plan. And then it just kept going. And then as I was making the videos, I posted them on my company website. Then I was posting them on Facebook. And I could be months down the road and somebody would see me and say, you the 3 Ps guy. Man, I love your videos. Oh, man, I listen to them. So that inspired me to just keep going. Till this day, I still do them. You know, like right now, I probably got 5 or 6 already made up. I just hadn't posted them. So it's not only am I inspiring them, they inspire me to keep doing it.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go.
Now that you mentioned, I do remember you pointing out that on that cup right there in front,
yes,
it had the 3 Ps as well. How do you end up getting that cup? It's just been like, I've been staring at it for a moment now.
Well, you know what? This cup is very special. My wife gave me that for a Christmas present. And when she gave it to me, and I'm going to be transparent, I shedded a tear because it was so amazing. You know, she took what I had been doing and put it on the cup. When I saw it, I was like, oh, my God. You know, I said, well, you know what? We finna do something now, you know. And so when she did that, that inspired me even more to, you know, to get the word out, you know. And so that's the reason that cup comes. That's finna be the start of something. Just saying, I'm putting it out there.
I'm going to be the first one to...
You heard him now.
So, reflecting on the past year, how has being the driver ambassador for the liquid cool division allowed you to leave a lasting positive impact on those you encounter?
Okay, like I stated earlier with the ambassador program, all right, I work for Jones, but I work in what they call the liquid cool division. And what it is we haul generators that use liquid cool, but that's something totally different. But with that being said, the drivers in that department is usually about, y'all just edited that part out. It's about 25 people in that department, so we're pretty tight-knit group. And so, like, if we got problems or concerns, you know, we'll sit there and discuss it amongst ourselves, you know, and we'll be like, hey, you know what, Burl? They'll say, well, Burl, you know what? Why don't you bring this up in the next meeting? You know, and I'm like, okay. So we'll bring it up, and then once we bring it up, you know, it's up to the company to decide what they want to do. So once they decide to get back with us on it, then we already got an understanding that it could get worked out, or they could change it to make it better from where it was. And so that's an inspiration itself, because you have a company that wants to listen and wants to hear the concerns that we have. You know, some companies, they care less. You know, it's just like being at school. If you got a problem, your teacher don't listen to you when you come to her with the problem, you be like, why they ain't listen to me? They always tell me come talk with them. And so, but when they respond and solve it, you feel pretty good. And so I feel pretty good.
If you could, so some fun questions that we want to ask. If you could take a road trip with, like, any historical figure, who would it be and why?
Oh, man. We got so many people in history. I'm going to go, since we're going to go with the Dr. Martin Luther King. I would take a ride with him. And just for the knowledge and the type of person he was to want to unite all races, you know, to be good people, good characters, you know, and so I would take that ride with him.
Well, from a lot of the truck drivers I've met, they usually have a name for their, like, truck.
Yeah.
Do you have, like, a name for your, like, your truck?
You can edit this part out too. It's called a Mac Daddy. Because I drive a Mac. The truck I drive is a Mac, and it has a dog on the front of it. And I say, hey, Mac Daddy. So it's looking at me when I drive. Seriously. You know, and so I call it a Mac Daddy. You know, and then drivers also, you know, they have their own name as well. You know, they have what they call a CB handle. Yeah, like, you got a nickname? I ain't gonna tell us.
No, it's just a shorter version of my name, just Alex.
Okay, like, my name is Mr. Burl Sneed, but on the highways they call me Freeloader. Yeah, so you have to read between the lines on that one.
Okay, but I just wanted to thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Sneed. Like, I feel like you really, like, gave us a lot of information. It's like, and it's also been entertaining too. So I just want to thank you for that, and also I want to thank DallasISD CTE for helping us facilitate the First Friday show school year of the year. And be sure to follow all of their social medias, as you can see down below. And I just want to thank everyone for listening and tuning in. And once again, I'm Unison.
I'm Cammie.
I'm Chewy.
I'm Violet.
Thank you.
And I'm Burl. How you doing?
Oh, bye.
Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to KSBM Radio, the voice of Townview.
My radio station.
We hope you enjoyed the great content and great discussion, all from a student's perspective. Make sure to follow us on Twitter for the latest updates at KSBM_TVC or on Facebook at KSBM Radio.
Add them on Facebook.
Check them on Facebook. Take care.